Aloha, welcome to Sally's Home Cooking, bringing you Moringa mushroom salad. Stay tuned. Here are the ingredients for today's recipe. Let's gather and prepare. Let's start by toasting our sesame seeds. You only need to use a medium heat here and toast it for about 3 to 5 minutes. Normally in our recipes, we start with preparing our moringa, but moringa is tedious to prepare, so I already prepared that way ahead of time. To learn how to prepare your moringa, click on the link above and you will see some of our older videos. Here we are just putting the toasted sesame seeds in a mortar and pestle. We just need to pound this a little bit so that we can extract the oil as well as splitting the seeds. It's easier to eat. It's for texture. Your sesame seed, transfer that in a bowl so you can mix that with the dressing ingredients. Here I'm grating the ginger, and I'm actually using this really neat plate I got from one of our Maui County fairs. It's pretty cool. And here we're just adding the rest of the ingredients, the rice wine vinegar, shoyu or soy sauce. And one good thing about this dressing is we're also adding mirin. Mirin is a Japanese ingredient. I really like the taste. It's a little bit sweet. I use this ingredient for my spam musubi sauce. To those of you that like spam musubi, it really tastes good. Alright, make sure that you mixed your dressing really well and set that aside, and we can prepare our mushrooms. I'm using 4 different types of mushrooms here, and nothing in particular that I chose this. I actually would prefer shiitake as well as oysters, but our Foodland market doesn't have those mushrooms when I went yesterday. And so we're using some of the packaged Japanese mushroom types here. I'm using shimeji mushrooms as well as cremini. Cremini is, I've learned based from my readings, it's a baby bella. And if you like bella mushrooms, I like it. It's really good with stew. So it will be good with this recipe as well. So let's just prepare our mushrooms. Make sure to wash your mushrooms. Sometimes they're saying you don't need to wash, that you just need to wipe it. I do wash my mushrooms. Here, I'm just removing the base of the mitake as well as shimeji and separating them by hand. These mushrooms are pretty tender. The cremini mushrooms, I like to remove the stems and just use the head. So slice that, and this is what we will use for this recipe. Alright, so once we're done preparing our mushrooms, we can heat up a large saucepan and add our vegetable oil. I use vegetable oil here because you don't want the oil to be so strong like olive oil, because we are using sesame seed oil to flavor our recipe. So you just need to put the mushrooms all together, and they are so beautiful. I just love looking at all of these mushrooms and putting them in the saucepan and saute this for about 1 minute. You don't want it to overcook it. You want it to soften and retain its texture. You don't want a mushy mushroom, but you also do not want an undercooked mushroom. So after a minute, add the salt, sprinkle the mushroom with the salt. You want that moisture to be extracted, and the salt actually will help you do that. So here we are just cooking the mushrooms for another minute, and it is actually on a medium-low heat. Don't forget to occasionally mix the mushrooms. And you will know when it's done and when it's ready to add your other ingredients by seeing if the mushroom is a little bit brown and soft. Alright, the mushroom's looking good, so we're adding the sake right now. If you don't have a sake, this is actually a Japanese wine, well, because it's available in my fridge. But you can also use white wine as well as sherry wine. And I just added the sesame seed oil as well as the dressing. Mix all the ingredients really well, but don't overmix it. The mushrooms are so tender looking, and so you don't want to overmush it. And let that sit, cover, and let it cook for additional 2 minutes. Alright, 2 minutes is done, and look at that mushrooms, and it smells so good in the kitchen right now. I can smell that aroma from the sesame seed oil. Now we're ready to add our moringa, and like what I said in my previous videos, do not overcook your moringa because you want to retain the nutritional value of the vegetable, and it's a very nutritious vegetable, and it tastes really good too. So right now we're just mixing it with the mushroom mixture and cook it for about 1 minute, just 1 minute, and actually until the leaves are wilty and tender. And there you have it, a delicious moringa mushroom salad. Not only delicious but healthy. You can top this with fish flakes or tinapa in Philippines. And mahalo, thank you once again for tuning into our channel. Please like and subscribe to Sally's Home Cooking. Until next time, ahui ho.